In this video, I'm going to talk about sketching in Fusion 360. I'm going to talk about where and how you can create a sketch, how you can make geometry in the sketch and modify it, and finally, what it means to constrain a sketch and how we can go about doing that. So, sketching is hugely important in Fusion 360. In general, our modeling workflow is going to be we will create geometry in a two-dimensional sketch, and we will then use the geometry from that sketch to create three-dimensional geometry in all sorts of different shapes. So we're starting in 2D and we're going to 3D. A sketch can be created on any flat surface. If you want to create a sketch, you go up here and you click Create Sketch at the left side of the tool menu. And we've got a few different options. We can create a sketch on any of our three primary planes, XY, XZ, and YZ. But we can also use any other flat surface. So I've got a block here. I could create my sketch on any of the surfaces of this block. I could also create a sketch on the top of this cylinder. However, I am not able to create a sketch on the round surface of this cylinder. Now, if I create a sketch, say, on the top of this box or the top of this cylinder, although these top surfaces are a finite size, the sketch will actually extend infinitely in all directions. So I'm not constrained to only sketching on this little area of the surface. I can sketch anywhere. It's just going to be on a surface that lines up with this one but extends infinitely in all directions. I'm going over to a new Fusion file with nothing in it, and I am going to create a sketch on the XY plane by selecting the XY plane. The camera automatically pivots to look directly at my sketch surface, and my tools up at the top change into the sketch tools. So in general, we have three sets of sketch tools. We have the create tools, the modify tools, and the constraints. So I've got a number of create tools here, but there are actually even more. I can click the create word and get a drop down of more stuff, and then modify is sort of how I can take that geometry and tweak it a little bit. Finally, constraints are how we can make it specific and lock it in place. Let's take a look at the create tools up here on the left. Now, the bread and butter of your sketch creation tools are the line tool and the circle tool. You're going to be able to do the vast majority of the sketching that you need to in this class using just those two sketch create tools. Now, you can see right now my cursor is just a plain white arrow, but when I go up and click the line tool, my cursor is going to change. It's going to show a little symbol of the line tool, which is how I know that's what I have selected. The way to use the line tool is I first just click somewhere to start my line, and now you can see that the line is following my cursor, and I've got little icons telling me how long it is and what angle it's at. If I hover it straight up and down, I get this funny little symbol which tells me the line is actually vertical. I'm going to click a second time to place my line. The line tool will actually keep going. The line tool will let me draw as many lines in a row as I want, and if I want to stop drawing lines, I can either hover over this little check mark and click it, or I can also say that, you know what, I'm done placing lines, and I can hit the escape key on the keyboard. The circle tool is also a pretty simple two-click tool. You can see that when I select it, I've got a little circle symbol next to my cursor. I click once to place the center point of the circle. I then drag out and decide how big I want the diameter of the circle to be. In both the line tool and the circle tool, you get this little indicator. Let's say I want to make a 2-inch diameter circle. I really don't need to sit here trying to get this to land exactly on 2 inches. When you're sketching out geometry, you should only sketch out very roughly the shapes that you want to use, and then we are going to go back with some of our constraints and other tools to make them more accurate after the fact, okay? So after you lay down sketch geometry, it's important to understand that it remains flexible. Here's this circle I just placed. I can grab the outside of it and I can drag it to make it bigger or smaller. So you don't have to get it exactly right when you're laying the sketch geometry down. In fact, I discourage you from trying to do so because you're going to waste your own time. You can lay down rough geometry and then use other tools to make it perfect after the fact. Now I'm going to talk about the modify tools. The big modify tool that you should know at starting out is the trim tool, the scissors tool. Let me show you how that works. Maybe I want to have a rectangle and I want to have some round cutouts in the sides of it. I can draw a rectangle and then draw a series of circles around it. And I can use the trim tool, the scissors tool, to just clip out all the pieces of the geometry that I don't want. And I'll just end up with this fun compound shape. This is a really useful way to quickly generate complex shapes. You just kind of draw in more lines than you need and then trim down to just the ones that you want. Finally, let's talk about the constraints. To do that, I'm going to hop over to another file that I've already prepared. Now, constraints are a way that you can add rules to your geometry. You can tell the program, hey, this is how I want this geometry to relate to other geometry. It is almost a way of sort of using cheat codes to make shapes and geometric relationships that are more perfect than you would be able to do if you were just doing it by hand. So I'm going to go through a bunch of these tools in order using some example lines and shapes that I've drawn up already. The first is horizontal vertical, and as its name suggests, this is used to make things horizontal and vertical. So the first and most basic way that you can use it is you can apply it to lines. I have a line here that's nearly horizontal but not quite. I've got my horizontal vertical tool selected, and I will click on the body of this line and it will snap it into the horizontal position and show us this little horizontal constraint to indicate that that's what's going on. Similarly, if I have a line that's nearly vertical and I click on it, it will become vertical and get a little vertical symbol. This is not the only possible use for this tool, however. In addition to making lines vertical, we can also make points horizontal or vertical in relation to one another. So I have two little line segments here that are not quite lined up with each other. If I wanted this point to be directly below that point, I can select the horizontal vertical tool. I can click on one point and then the other point, and now they are snapped into being vertically aligned with one another. You can see there's a vertical symbol next to each point, and if I click on it, it will highlight both of these points to show that they are connected together. Next, we have the coincident tool. Now, the coincident tool also has a couple of functions. The most basic function is to take points and connect them together. So if I take the coincident tool and click on one point and then another point, they are joined together. However, it has an additional function which is a little bit less intuitive, and that is it can make a line coincident to a point. So if instead of clicking on individual points, I click on the body of this diagonal line and then the endpoint of this lower line, you can see they got scooted over, but they're not actually touching each other. And why is that? Remember, this computer program is thinking like this is geometry class. So we have a little line segment here, but this line theoretically could extend infinitely in either direction. If we take the end of this line and stretch it out, you can see that it perfectly intersects with the endpoint that we attached it to using the coincident tool. Moving on, we have the tangent tool. Now in geometry, a line is tangent to a circle when they touch at exactly one point. That's kind of a technical explanation, but I think that when you see a line that's tangent to a circle or a circle that's tangent to another circle, you'll actually quickly recognize what that means because they sort of flow smoothly into one another. So I'm going to show you a couple examples. The first is we can click on this line and make it tangent to this circle, and you can see they now meet up perfectly with one another. I can also make one circle tangent to another circle. And finally, here I have a line segment which the end of which is connected to a curve, a piece of a circle. So if I use my tangent tool and click on this line segment and this curve, now they flow perfectly together. And in all three of these instances, you can see that a little tangent symbol has appeared to show us that geometric relationship. This next one is a twofer. First, I'm going to show you the parallel tool, which I think you will all understand. If I click on one line and another line, the parallel tool will make them parallel to each other. The second constraint I'm going to show in this example is the equal tool. The equal tool will take one line and make it equal in length to another line. So you can now see these two lines are both parallel to one another and have these little parallel symbols. They're also equal in length to one another and have an equal symbol showing that. Next up we have midpoint. Midpoint will take a point and connect it to the middle of a line. So I can select the end of one line and the body of another line. Now it's stuck together in the middle. We can also use the midpoint tool to actually attach two lines together at their midpoints, although this is not always very useful. We can use the midpoint tool to attach any sort of point to the middle of a line. So I could select the center point of this circle and the body of this line, and now the circle is stuck on the middle of this line. The concentric tool is very straightforward. It just means that two circles share the same center point. So if I select one circle and another circle, they have now been stuck together and are lined up with each other. Finally, we have the collinear tool. Now, this is a funny word. You may not have heard it before, but the roots of it, co and linear, really explain what it does. I'm going to take the collinear constraint and apply it to these two lines, and you can see that they are now perfectly lined up with one another. So there's an important distinction to draw here. These two lines are parallel to one another, just like the parallel tool. However, they would also intersect each other if they were extended. So it's kind of like a combination of the parallel tool and the coincident tool, which we saw before. You may notice that I skipped over this padlock here, the fix tool. The reason for that is I do not like the fix tool. I do not want you using the fix tool in this class. Sometimes there are situations where you have an extraordinarily weird shape and you just need it to stay put by fixing it. But in general, in this class, we want to learn to constrain our designs using conventional geometry and not lean on the crutch of the fix tool, which prevents us from fully understanding how our designs are working. These are all the constraints, and I encourage you to maybe take a little time and play around with some of these sketch tools that I've just showed you.